lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America, which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will now introduce our current board members, board of directors. I'll start at the end. Dr. Jonathan Henderson, Dr. Meg Ludlam, Tasha Woods, and I'm Jason White, and Dr. Hilda Pena Alfaro had a family emergency, so is not in attendance this evening. We are joined by our superintendent, Ginger Haber. All right, and sorry, I'm losing my notes here. We will start off board with our consent agenda. We've all had time to review it. Is there any?
I move that we accept the consent agenda.
I second. All right. Tasha has moved, we accept this consent agenda, and Meg has seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, then I'll call the vote. Jonathan? Aye. Meg? Aye. Tasha?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Consent agenda approved. Next up is administration. We have the superintendent's update. Ginger?
All right, well, board, I have a very exciting celebration that I just learned about when I went back to warm up my pizza for dinner. Patty Kimmel is joining us, and we truly have an amazing special education staff here in ESD. They've just worked overtime literally to serve the needs of our students, and Patty got some really good news today. And so Patty, would you like to unmute yourself and share this good news with the board? Patty, you're still on mute.
Leslie's working on it.
I'm working on it.
Sorry.
There we go, Patty. It looks like you're unmuted.
Am I on?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Every year on November 1st, all school districts in the state get a report card per se from OSPI, and it's about special education compliance. And I'll give you some examples of what all they score us on. Audit findings we have a minimum of 8 district reports that we have to send to the state. They have to be on time and they have to be correct. They look at us for disproportionality, or how we look at evaluating all of our students in certain areas. Our post-secondary rates, so we have to go back to our students that have graduated previously and report to what those students are doing at this point in time. So the IEPs have to be on time and correct. Safety net has to be on time, so you get scores of 1, which is meets requirements, 2, which is needs assistance, and you never want to be a 3 or a 4, which means needs intervention or needs substantial intervention. So once again, our school psychs, our teachers, Kathy Rudd, Gemma Wolfenbarger, and Sue Foy, all here at the district office, all these people make this happen, and we got a number 1. So we are number 1, yay, once again. And that's all because of these people doing a tremendous job. And then the other thing to share with you is that we just completed our post-secondary outcomes for the class of 2019. We got a hold of over 80% of the students, and we have 62% of our students at this point in time that are working or they're in higher education, which is the state average right now for this year seems to be at 52%. So I thought those were 2 really big areas of celebration. So thanks for allowing me to share.
Thank you, Patty. That is really amazing. Every year we're coming through with strong reports like that, and we're just so thankful and grateful for Patty and her leadership and the work of her whole team. So do you
ready?
like to bring up my PowerPoint? Can you go to the next slide? So first, it was a big celebration. We were able to work as a team and give a presentation to the City Council on Monday and able to address many of the questions that they had. And so one thing that we said there that I want to really celebrate here is we put a lot of time and energy into opening up our brand new schools. And just, it really is a huge thank you to our community and our everybody who just came together to make that bond campaign and bond successful. And as you can see, we've got, gives you another view of both Mount Stewart and Ida, as well as Lincoln. So we just have really been celebrating that the last couple of months. So this just gives you some of the stats. For example, now on Mount Stewart, it's about 55,993 square feet, 24 classrooms. The autism program that's currently at Valley View will move into Mount Stewart, and there's just beautiful classrooms there, and they're going to have their own area that they'll be able to use outside in the courtyard, a little sensory gym. So we're really excited about that. And again, they will move into that building next year. We do have a 6,107 square foot gym, which is a full-size gym for basketball teams in our community to be able to use, and built for about 500 students, and we currently have about 446 there. These are just some of the beautiful graphics, if you haven't had a chance to be inside, that have been put up for the Mount Stewart inside of our building. And as I think, Meg, thank you, I know you were here. We had an opportunity to have an open house for our community at Mount Stewart. And a thank you to Leslie. She went around and handed out personal invitations in the neighborhood nearby. And then I went back and talked with some of our community members that had some concerns. And some of those community members, because of those personal invites, came to our open house. So it was a huge success. And we're just really thankful to have an opportunity to show off our brand new school. And we will be hosting an open house for Ida, Mason, Aranca, probably after Thanksgiving, either that week after or like that first week in December. So go ahead. The Early Learning Center too is a celebration. We kept the annex, which is in the back of what was the old Mount Stewart, and have turned it into a wonderful learning space for our preschools, as well as we will be housing the TK program there, hopefully starting in January. Kelly Krombauer and Julie Hamilton are working together to put out a survey to our families, our elementary families, to see how many families would be interested in having their 4-year-olds attend this program. This program is funded by the state, unlike the preschools. So we're excited about that because we know that early learning, and it's a full day program. And we know that early learning is really a cornerstone of helping students be successful in their whole K through 12 journey. So we're excited to be able to develop that space. And Lincoln Elementary, you can see all the different things. We're adding approximately 10,000 additional square feet. It's built for 450 students. We are putting on another 6,000 square foot gym, which again will be bigger than the one that's in there currently, which will allow our community members again to have another gym to use for our basketball teams. We are relocating the cafeteria and the library. The library is going from upstairs to downstairs. And one of the most exciting things is they will have air conditioning. So when it gets hot, they will have a brand new HVAC system, which has been much needed in Lincoln. And I think our architects have done a great job. We did a lot of listening to community members, to parents, to staff. And they have designed a way to put some new features in there, but still keep the character and charm of Lincoln, because we really know that Lincoln is a real treasure for our Ellensburg community. And this is just a picture of the steel framework that's going up. So they're getting ready to build that gym on the outside of Lincoln. So now we have Ida, and Ida Nason Aronica opened for temporary occupancy October 25th. We had all of our staff and students in there. And thank you to the federal ESSER funds. We were able to use those, and all 3 additional classrooms are added now to Ida, which is a good thing. We have heard that there's going to be potential development just west of Ida at the tune of maybe about 140 or so homes. And so I'm very excited that we were able to build those additional classrooms right away. It was a good use of our ESSER funds. And so it's built for 500 students like Mount Stewart. And go ahead, go to the next one. As you know, it is Native American Heritage Month. And at the City Council, we had the gift of hearing Ellen and Aronica share the City of Ellensburg celebration around National Native American Month. Certainly we were excited because that we have our brand new school named after Ida Nason Aronica. And here's some pictures of Ida. She was really very active in education and really had a charismatic way of bringing together the community. You see that little picture of the horses off to the side. She was an amazing horsewoman, and she also, I think, worked together to help start the rodeo, which we know is a huge part of our culture here in Ellensburg. And on the right, you see her with her basket weaving, and she was also very, very talented at this area. And we also have the gift, one of the neighbors across the street actually has a basket that was woven by Ida and has donated it to the school. So we're excited to be able to get that in the one of our showcases and start setting up a display for that. And I invited Sia Aronica and to come to our next board meeting just to share out a little bit more about their personal memories and what they appreciate most about Ida. In the naming of Ida Nason Aronica, just a quick reminder, we were using the Pacific Education Institute framework is going to guide a lot of the work there at Ida, and even the plan would be across the district that we start really thinking about these different areas in our elementary schools. Ida will have the same curriculum as the other schools, but this will help develop their culture because every elementary school truly has their own culture. And I pulled out the blue box because one thing that I really appreciate about PEI is they honor and highlight the importance of layering in cultural and knowing about different cultures, especially Native American cultures. So again, a quick peek inside. We have, again, another full-size gymnasium for our community. And you can see a quick peek into the classrooms. You see a giant window there. Natural lighting was a big value for the design teams for for both Ida and Mount Stewart. So you will see a lot of natural lighting there. And so we also have a very well-defined drop-off and pickup plan. And I'm going to invite, I think Joanne is there to kind of share with us here in a minute. When Ida first was open for occupancy on October 25th, I personally was out there directing traffic so I could really get a feel for the movement of cars. And the 2 days that I was there, I think it took about 25 minutes for the pickup at the end of school. And I asked Joanne to send me what their time was today. And from the 25th till now, she said it was parents were able to come through, pick up their kids and be done with it in 11 minutes. So really kudos to Joanne and her staff. And I feel confident that we've got a good plan and we're always looking at ways to improve it. Just like at any school, you're always going to have a lineup of cars right before the pickup time. But once that pickup time starts, again, she was able to get it done in about 11 minutes, which is a big celebration. And go ahead and go to the next one. And Joanne, actually, that was information that she shared with families. She has reiterated with families multiple times the importance of not driving through the neighborhood and not stopping, in front of driveways. And I think that our parents have been really adjusted to those guidelines that she has shared. And I know, Tasha, you spoke at the city council meeting and said that you saw some major improvements there too from the beginning until now. So that's all very good news and celebration. And just some more pictures of Ida. You can look down the hallway on the picture on the right. It shows you on the bottom right, shows you the open learning spaces. And that has been, I had a chance to be at Mount Stewart. And with that wind time that Kelly and Jen shared about before, where we give students an opportunity once a day to go into small groups that where they're grouped by their specific needs in both literacy and math. And these shared spaces were just perfect for that. It was so fun to be in the building and see all of those spaces being used the way we designed them to be used. I saw kids out in the courtyard too, so it made my heart sing when I saw all of that. And so if you want to go to the next slide, Joanne, if you would like to kind of share out with us your journey and the exciting work that you're doing there at IDA.
We're just going to make sure, Joanne, that you get unmuted. There you go, Joanne. You should be unmuted.
Okay, I don't know if you want, I could turn my camera on too. I feel I'm a talking box right now, but that's okay. Yeah, so it has been quite a journey. The move, I just can't even thank our entire community that has helped us, help Lincoln be able to accomplish this great feat to move an entire school. We ended at Lincoln on a Wednesday, and we started at Ida Nason Aronica the following Monday. And that just doesn't happen by itself. It happens with community, just like these beautiful schools have been built for our children. It just shows how much our community values our greatest natural resource, which is our children. It's a Walt Disney quote. So I feel just beyond grateful for all the support that we've had from our maintenance department, from community volunteers, from our district support that we've received, our teachers' families and friends that have helped us accomplish this, to have a school up and running in such a short time. And I just have to say, I am so grateful and honored to be a guest here right now, is what we feel like, because we're Lincoln Elementary School being housed in Ida Nason Aronica, and it is a beautiful, beautiful building, and our students are just so excited and so happy to be here. You could just see the smiles on their face. We started this week for the first time eating in a cafeteria, which we haven't done for 1.5 years at Lincoln with the pandemic. And then Lincoln didn't have, we just weren't able to do that safely in our building. And it is like Christmas time. Everybody's just so excited. And we're getting the routines of that down. This was our 3rd day. Every day gets a little bit better. The kids have been great. Our playground the playground here wasn't completely finished. They got one of the toy structures finished and ready for kids to play on tomorrow. But our kids are happy. And I just want to share, we're talking a lot about gratitude this month, and the kids, every student at Lincoln received a 3-minute gratitude journal. It's just a simple book, and it has, I'm thankful for, and you can write 3 things. The line, this person brought me joy today. And then it has emojis, and they can circle how they're feeling. And then it has what was the best part of your day, draw or write about it. And every student got one from kindergarten through 5th grade. And it was so cute. A kindergarten teacher texted me last night a picture of one of her kindergarten friends in her class. And she'd already wrote in her journal and she was so excited about it. And she said that she was thankful for her family, her pets, and being at Ida Nason Aronica. And then what was the best part about your day? And it was at recess, and she's got a cute little picture. I wish I could show you guys, but cute little picture of her and a friend jumping rope together. So although we didn't have all the toy structures ready, we had jump ropes and hula hoops, and they could play soccer on the blacktop, and they were happy. They were happy. And we have an art room. First time we've had an art room since I've been here in Ellensburg. And so that is exciting. We have a music room. The strings program started here. There is just so much to be grateful for. And I just can't thank this community enough. And I can't thank our parents and teachers and our students enough for just the flexibility and the resilience you've showed over the last year and a half and throughout this move. And like Ginger said, our learning the drop off and pickup every day does get better. And really, once the bell rings and we dismiss at 3:20, it literally today was 11 minutes once everybody started flowing through. So I'm so grateful and honored to have had this opportunity to experience this. And I just want to end with, because we're talking about gratitude, a Brene Brown quote that says, "I don't have to chase extraordinary moments to find happiness. It's right in front of me if I'm paying attention and practicing gratitude. And each day, that's what I look for, and I find it in the faces of our children." So we're just loving every moment we're here. And so thank you to our community.
Thank you, Joanne, and just know that we all really appreciate your leadership in this process and the way you just promote such a positive culture there at Lincoln. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Ginger. Board, any questions for Ginger? All right, then we will move to the next item. Finalize board legislative priorities. Looking at Meg, do you want to start us off or Ginger? Okay.
So I sent out yesterday writing of legislative priorities previously. Some people have a little time for calling at the wrong time. It's usually anyway. So at the last meeting, I guess was, we went over a list of 19 or 20 legislative positions that I thought, after reviewing all the positions that were presented at the General Assembly last weekend, were the most important ones from Ellensburg's point of view. And then we had the General Assembly and went over all of these positions again, and after all of that, I changed a little bit what I thought we should include, but the main thing I had to do was cut out 4 or 5 of my 4, because we're only allowed to submit 15 rather than 19 priorities to WASDA, which I'm going to do by the noon on Friday. So I put the priority numbers on this rather badly formatted better one that I created, but I did not actually list them in priority order because I didn't have very much time and there was such a large chance that I would screw the whole document up. So I'm going to go through them in the order that I have prioritized them. Oh, another thing that happened is the priority, the positions that we're prioritizing are a different set of positions from the ones that we went over at the assembly, because they include so-called standing legislative positions as well as new and revised ones that we went over at the assembly. So they were all in different order. But I decided that none of the standing legislative positions, with one exception I'll get to, none of them were more worthy of inclusion than the newer ones that were already here. So as I say, I'm going to just briefly indicate the order. And I kind of clustered them because by subject matter, and it just seemed sensible to me. It's hard to figure out what came first, second, and so forth. But the two that I put at the top both have to do with the prototypical school model, because I heard a lot of saying it's broken. And, there are two versions of this priority of this legislative position, one of which is to revise the existing model, and the other one is come up with a new model that's not just for K-12, but for 12, and that is driven more strongly by equity considerations. But I thought I put both of them in there because, you know, maybe it's revise the old, maybe it's, you know, come up with a new one, but I think WASA should be advocating for the general idea, not the specific model. Three, and you can change the priorities. That's really what we're here for. If anybody wants to change the priorities, or adjust the ones that I took out and put in. So I put number 3, equity-based education, which we decided as a board last time needed to be added to the list that I had presented, and I think that's obviously a high priority. And then, so that's the next group. There are several here that relate to education per se, and after that. And then there's another group that relates to funding. So the education related ones start with the, and many of these in both categories have to do with working groups that have been working on these topics and made recommendations, and I thought positions that had come out of groups that are giving considerable attention to topics. It was important to further their efforts and that they've already figured out. And the first one is mastery-based credits to meet graduation requirements. Again, a working group recommendation. There's another one on linking graduation, number 5, linking graduation requirements to career pathways. It says on here along with number 3, but number 3 is not number 4. So along with the one on mastery-based credits, this position that I've numbered 5 clarifies the relationships between the career pathways, the mastery-based learning, and 20 and 24 credit requirements. Number 6, expansion of work-based learning opportunities and pathways. That you know, more out of school learning opportunities for our students, high school students, is obviously and I think it's a worthwhile endeavor. Number 7, seems to have gotten out of education already. Addressing digital equity, which is also, that was also, I think, added at our meeting, this topic. Now I'm into funding, pure funding, transportation funding, number 8, staffing level, fully funded staffing levels, number 9, fully funding SEB, number 10, statewide salary schedule, number 11, and levy and local effort assistance, number 12. I just did them, you know, all of what's related to funding that were already on the list. 13. Oh, 13. This is also. I had comprehensive school and student safety previous number 13. Actually, I guess it's Washington number 13, but anyway, I don't feel as though we have a big huge problem in Ellensburg with safety, not that this isn't an important statewide priority, but they want us to rank them from our district's point of view, so I try to do that. So the one I have, number 13 now, is a position relating to allowing open assessments so that to smarter balance to minimize competition of assessments with instruction time. 14 and then only 15. Okay, 14, I think this is another one that was added in our last meeting, professional development for basic education instruction via distance learning. One thing to do, and finally 15. Let's see, okay, well, this was a funny one. This is the one where I took a standing legislative position. And I previously had included on the list priority, or the position that would attract, recruit, and retain diverse school board directors. And I thought it was an important issue statewide, not so much for us here in Ellensburg, but after today's election, it may be worthy of emphasis after all. I replaced it with, I was more concerned previously about teachers than school directors. So I replaced it with attract, recruit, and retain high quality diverse staff instead of diverse school board directors. But so anybody have any feelings about all of that? Anything on it changed it? And then crossed out ones are still there. Yeah, one thing I took out was, well, the reason I took out the student voice in governance actually is because it didn't appear in the list anymore. It's not that I thought it wasn't important, but it wasn't in the list that I get to vote on. I also took out the one about making it providing better access, more equitable access to dual credit options, because we sort of solved it locally, as Ginger reported last time. And then the other one I took out was there's a position about developing a process to challenge audit findings about levy uses, which I think is an important thing, but you know, I'm limited to 15, so.
And Meg, just for clarification, so these are the 15 that you're proposing from our board.
Well, for what?
As our board, right?
Well, these are the 15 that I'm saying I and our board will send on to WASDA to represent Ellensburg's priorities. Among the 33 total legislative positions.
So Meg, that's it as in the presentation, correct? So now you're just asking for feedback.
Yeah, if anybody would want to make changes to priorities and what's included.
Or we've had a chance to look at this before, and thank you, Meg, for walking us through that board. What are your thoughts? Any feedback or suggestions for Meg? Great, you may explain what the changes.
The only item I added, it was a place where I replaced diverse school board directors with diverse teachers. The other ones were all just private. I'm not sure I agree with that replacement now. So I was entertaining. Change, just suggest change. Whether to go back to the.
I know. So Meg, can you explain the process on this just a little bit more fully? Sorry, I like that. The process on this is that you met last week statewide. That was when that meeting was for these policy initiatives. And so now after that meeting, that statewide meeting, you've now been informed and reviewed what happened at that meeting, and now we're down to this list, which will then be forwarded on to WASDA from every other school board. And then WASDA will take that assortment and then they'll make that determination about where those lobbying efforts will be or the efforts that they'll do with the ledge.
Based on their interpretation of consensus of all that built on this.
I think with that understanding that this will be with consensus, with statewide school boards weighing in, but with that consensus that this represents Ellensburg fairly well. I like that there's a mix of student education opportunities and funding. And most of the funding that is in here is the same funding that we've been advocating for. So I think this is a great mix, and I think that sending this on to WASDA to be weighed with all the other state school boards, good. I like what you've done. Thank you.
Thanks for that context and clarification.
Yeah, thank you, Meg. I really appreciate your work on this a lot. I know this takes a lot of time and a lot of sifting through a lot of information. So I really appreciate this. I support what you've done. Again, I think to echo Tasha, I really feel strongly about the funding ones. I don't know if there's ways to get to prioritize them, because I feel like we're a broken record every year, but the prototypical model, I mean, we have staff that's just not, the state doesn't pay for, and so we, you know, the district's paying for it. So again, those are broken. Those are systems that we really, the state just needs to start hearing from across the state that we've got to fix. So I know for me, I feel like I say that every year, but that is what we got to keep pushing for. But, so sorry, I threw a question in there. The question was, are you able to prioritize, or do you just give them 15?
Well, I put the prototypical models, number 1 and 2. I put the other funding a little lower down because it kind of has the character of still whining about the clarity. Some of them have recommendations of work groups, implementation of that, but I could put all of the funding related ones at the top, but I thought it was nice and mixing it.
Actually, I like what you did really well. Number 12 for me specifically, the one to return to pre-McCleary funding approach. I don't even know why that's on there, because
No,
the legislative or revised law. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that being on there, I just think that doesn't sound like language that our legislative folks are gonna be too excited about. So I was like, yeah, that one's probably my lowest priority, but the rest, great work, Meg. I'm really glad.
The reason that I like that one, otherwise I wouldn't have liked it, but that there was, again, there was a working group that worked through this and had new recommendations. That's really what I wish you would say, but I don't think there was an opportunity, but I see an opportunity to make a change in the actual language.
They needed your help writing it. Yeah, thank you, Meg. All right, board, Jonathan.
This is great work. My question I might have to say for the WASDA conference, no, it's fine, but you said they put all these together from all the school boards. Yeah, and do they go by each school board? It's kind of fair. Do they weight the population?
Well, during the conference, there were several issues that were debated. I mean, many of them were just, okay, that's fine. That wasn't in the assembly. We didn't talk about priorities. We talked about do we agree what the position should be? And one of the ones that was discussed at some length was comprehensive school safety, because there were 2 versions of it, one of which, well, that one wasn't actually discussed much, it was some. But one version had banning guns and the other one didn't. And there was another one. That one never tried. No one. And that might be one of the ones to address the question. Sometimes they ended up having to take a weighted vote in order to, weighted presumably by sides, in order to resolve an impasse. And there was another one like that too. That was one, yeah. Oh, which one was it? I don't remember, but they had a whole procedure where initially it took them just every school district had to vote. Well, there were only, there's a quorum is 74 at this meeting and there were 75 there, so. Out of, I hate to think how many, well, how many schools, 295. So it was not a fully representative vote. They used weighted votes at times.
Very interesting.
And then, but this prioritization exercise happens after the meeting separately in individual school districts and WASDA puts it all together in a black box, not voted on. So we're at the end of the voting process. This, whatever I submit here will just go into the black box with everybody else's. And WASDA will come out with its top 15 or 20 for the legislative session.
And I think that that question points to the reason why attending the WASDA conference is so important, because this is a well-conversed topic of the needs of Ellensburg is very different than the needs of, I was gonna pick on Bellevue because they're not here, and I'm sure they're not tuned in. Bellevue is very different, so how do we organize and work together through WASDA for those lobbying efforts? And so we will definitely hear lots of those conversations and have lots of chances to participate in that at the WASDA conference.
All right, board, I think we've all commented.
I think we need a motion to accept. Or
Do we? Okay,
ideally.
all right. I'm gonna go back to our agenda and verify that.
For action. It's
Mm-mm.
not an action item.
It's not an
Action
action.
item for me, I have to say.
It's not an action item, so I think at this point, I think this is where we give our feedback to Meg, and it sounds like we've done that. It really does look like the board is in agreement.
Well, thank you.
Excellent work, thank you.
Well, thank you. And there was a lot of input from the last time that was very helpful. So.
Right, thank you. All right, next up, we have business, October enrollment report. Ginger?
Actually, if you'll give me just a moment, Kelly's gonna come on and give that report.
Okay, so just to confirm, Leslie said that Kelly is going to join us virtually to give us, to speak on the October enrollment report.
Yes.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Awesome.
thank you.
All right, good evening, board. So all of you should have the document in board docs, but if not, I want to say Leslie might be pulling it up. So we've talked previously about the September report. So this is the October report. And what I can share with you is our full-time enrollments from September to October went up 23.8 students. Our head count increased 32 students from September to October. We also added 98 students to our running start roster. So those kids kick in October. And so CWU claimed almost 100 students of enrollment. And then we have our Open Doors program, which is also like Running Start. It actually runs through Yakima Community College. And we have approximately 3 students. We added 2 additional from September to October. All of our buildings did increase in enrollment, except for Morgan Middle School. They went down just by a couple kids. But it was kind of impressive to see how every building almost increased similarly. So we're seeing widespread, just consistent spread across the district. We budgeted for 3,000 students. And we are happy to report that in October, we were at 3147. So we're up 147 students. We're certainly hoping to see that increase again in November. And when you look at that, that's going to be very positive to support the district fiscally. Do you have any questions?
Meg or Jonathan, do either of you have questions? Okay. Okay. I think we are Thank you. We appreciate the update.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right, board, that leads us to board reports. We have no policy to review tonight, so Hilda's not here, so we will move to student reports. So thank you. We have our student who has joined us since the beginning. Thank you. Do you have a report? All right, go ahead.
All right, so I have a couple of different things from our schools that I would like to share with you guys. One is that we've received, as far as I know, a couple of school violence reports, and that has been sent out to parents, and some of students as well. And although they were said to be false, it is something of concern to parents and students as far as I've talked to them about it. And they were just wondering what options would it take in the future to that were safe. State testing that ended as of last Friday, and the students are very relieved, very happy that it's gone. And also, graduation, we had visits from Boston on Wednesday, and they
The last part's especially exciting, so thank you. Yes, thank you for your report. Appreciate that. All right, teaching and learning. Tasha, do you have a report? Okay, no report. Meg, do you have anything to add? Okay. All right, and then I do not have a board chair update. Thank you for that. That will lead us into public comment. So Leslie, if you can prepare us for public comment, I will read off how this works. All right. Individuals wishing to be heard by the board will add their name to the document in the Zoom chat box, or individuals will be recognized within Zoom by using the icon or emoji to show they are raising their hand. So we just need to make sure that anyone virtually can do that. And if there's anyone here who wishes to give public comment in person, just make sure that we let Leslie know. Once the chair calls on an individual, they will identify themselves by stating their name and address for the record. Individuals will proceed to make comments within the 3-minute time limit. In order to provide equal opportunity for comments, an individual's microphone will be turned off at the 3-minute time limit. The chair may interrupt or terminate an individual's statement when it is too lengthy, personally directive, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. The board as a whole has the final decision in determining the appropriateness of such rulings. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act 4230, agendas and topics must be set in advance of the meeting. Board members will not respond to public comment during the meeting. Additionally, comments may be submitted to the board at board@esd401.org. All right, Leslie, are we ready to open public comment?
I see no hands raised,
Okay.
and our guest here doesn't wish to speak.
Okay. All right. So again, I'm just gonna give one last call out. If there is anyone here virtually, we just need to see your hand here in the next 10 seconds so we can make sure that we do not miss anyone. All right, I am going to assume that we have no one for public comment. So I'm going to now close public comment. All right. New business, we have one item, proposed items for future consideration. Board or Ginger, anything that we need to consider?
Based on what our student rep shared tonight, could we have a report of reiterating again steps to school safety, that when what happens when a threat comes in, what does happen, and how do we talk to parents and students?
Already wrote it down. And actually, the app that we have with Stop It is doing its job. Because we get a lot of good information that we're able to follow up on. And the hard thing about some safety concerns is we're not always able to go back and say exactly what happened to students or even to families, but you know, I am really confident that we're following up on every single kind of threat, especially when it comes in through Stop It. And our, you know, our students are awesome. They're really good about coming and telling these semester administrators when we feel like there's something that's not safe. But talking about the overall process, absolutely. It might be a good time to refresh everybody on the use of Stop It, because that is really a huge, important app that we have in place to promote safety for students. And it's always a good thing for students to, for Sivapi to be able to go back and share that with her, you know, other students too, that if you hear something, say something, right, and use that app.
Thank you. Anything else?
I was wondering what the disposition needed to be of the letter that we got from Paul Canyon about revisiting the turf, artificial turf.
I have a meeting with Cole on Friday, and I'm gonna walk the field with him, and we can invite him to come and talk about it if you'd like it. I said we can invite him to come and talk about it, but I'm gonna walk the field with him.
That Meg reminded me of that, because I know that we can only have 2 board members out there. And I didn't reply to that email because I didn't want to violate the rules of that, but can a board member join you on that?
Absolutely, 9:15 on Friday.
Oh, yeah, and up to 2 board members could go. So Meg or Jonathan, if that's something you're interested in. Meg, are you interested? So is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, so, yeah. Great. Yeah, I appreciate the board members being willing to do that. I think we need more information. I know I would like to see more data before it's presented to the board at this meeting. That's my opinion on it, so. Okay. All right, board any,
Jason, if you have specific data that you want to see, if you want to send it to me, I can ask Cole to provide that. But I can ask Cole for the type of information if you're wanting.
I think specifically because it's gonna be funding. So I want dollar signs in the data. Yeah, I want to know exactly what's being asked of by the district to pay for this, and where that money would come from. And probably, I don't know, for me, it's about priorities for the board too.
Have some kind of my country, it's capital plan, or we talked about developing a capital plan, but it's like in the context of what else we're doing, what we're. Because at one point, this was a fairly low priority, just another things we had to address, and I don't, yeah, so again, I agree, funding relative to what else.
I applaud the athletic director for consistently advocating for this.
Yeah.
There were 2 previous presentations that have been made that, to my knowledge, that there was a PowerPoint with dollar signs. And they've been revised and brought forward. So yeah, I think a plan with dollar signs and steps moving forward, but it's always worth a look to go and walk the field with their concerns. It does not mean that we're prioritizing or making decisions.
Yeah. Thank you, Ginger and Tasha, for those clarifications. All right, board, any other proposed items for future consideration? All right, Ginger, is there an executive session tonight? There is not. Anything for board calendar? Tasha?
Can we get clarification on WASDA and when we are leaving or as a group expected to go? Because I believe that the conference has some on Wednesday, but that is also a scheduled board meeting Wednesday evening, and then the conference starts Thursday. So I'm just wondering if we have an idea.
I can bring that information on the 8th when we meet together for our work session. We can do some planning around that and, you know, we can ride together in the van too if we want. And we can do that on the 8th too, if you guys want to ride together up to the van.
Anything else for board calendar? All right, then clarifications and next step. The only thing I can have is Ginger, just for clarification, was that we tend to invite if there's a new board member or a potential new board member that we elected, who would want to make sure that person's invited. So I just wanted to verify that. You would be making that contact? Okay, thank you. Any other clarifications and next steps? All right, signing of official documents. Leslie, where are we with that? Do we have a whole bunch tonight? Oh, joy. So board members, don't be rushing off. Looks like we've got some signatures that is needed. All right, so we'll sign off on the official documents. And that leads us to adjournment. I just need, board, I need a motion.
I move that we adjourn.
All right, Sasha has moved to adjourn and Meg has seconded. We are now adjourned. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.